Just who are the people living on the streets in the UK? Are they all mentally ill? Are they alcohol abusers? Are they the addicts? For a short time, I found myself destitute after the breakup of a relationship when I was 18 years old and passed around 3 months with no place to stay. Not very good for the dignity. A couple of days sitting in line with the other hardened people for an emergency payment of a fiver back then at the local social security office, limited to 3 payments and then no more. I managed to get off the street by taking an opportunity given to me to help a guy paint his house to try and save his marriage. I was able to give an address and when asked, and the rest is history. Life got better. I did other jobs and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. What I'm saying here is that there are many reasons why a person becomes of no fixed abode.
Mm.
All right, some of it by bad decision choices that people themselves make, but that's another subject.
Yeah.
I can tell you that most people drinking on the streets did so because they were on the streets and not the other way around. They were on the streets because they were drinking.
Yes.
It is a breeding ground for vices and bad habits. It is a jungle. Right. So when I saw this article, it drew my attention because it said that over the last 2 years, over 300,000 are now on the streets in the UK, a rise of 20% over the same time period. So over the last 2 years, it's gone up 20% to reach 300,000. I'm not too sure that this surge was due to a sudden surge in alcohol-related illnesses or a spike in drug taking in the major cities. These habits seem to be a consequence rather than the cause. Rent arrears? Landlords wanted to sell the properties? Like in my case, a broken relationship?
Yeah.
And more serious is the response by the local authorities. In London, where the situation is probably most difficult, if you live in a very desirable residence like Park Lane on the left-hand side of the road,
Mm-hmm.
you would be a millionaire in a very comfortable dwelling, thank you very much, or staying in a rather swanky hotel. And on the right-hand side of the road, you were probably hunkering down in a tent in the park.
Mm. Yeah.
So the authorities decided to solve the plight of the tent dwellers by taking their tents away and evicting them from the park. This doesn't solve anything. It merely the place where the people sleep and the aggravation for their mental state by being told that they are an outcast and that nobody cares about the root cause of their problem and they just go somewhere else.
Mm.
The authorities, no matter which side of the house they sit on, have shown that the national government does have the funds to solve the problem.
Mm. Yes.
This is evidenced by the hotels and multiple occupied housing being rented by the national government to house individuals who shouldn't be in the UK in the first place. The government needs to do some forward thinking and fast because things are about to get a lot worse, as there has been a 70% increase in the application for social housing in the UK over the last 4 years. And quite a lot of these are going to make up the homeless populations of tomorrow. And today, I was going to leave it there, but today there was an article about Tottenham Court Road.
All right. Yeah.
And apparently that's the latest hotspot. And it's it's a shanty town of tent dwellers in Tottenham Court Road, taken up. There are two of them actually, on two pieces of land.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying the London council are trying to get them out, But the thing is, and a vast majority of foreign people
Yeah.
who have come to the UK, lost their job,
Mm.
and got nowhere to go,
Yeah.
and everybody's in a tent these days. Everybody seems to be in a tent, and it's going to end up like in Calais, in France, or in some areas of Paris, where there are shanty cities of people just living in tents.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I see is happening. It's going to happen in the future with these 70% increase in applications for housing.
Yeah.
They're just not going to get it, and there's going to be a homeless pop explosion happening in the UK.
Yeah.
General.
Well, I mean, very sad. I mean, it's like you opened up. Who are these people on there? Well, a lot of ex-forces, ex-servicemen, British people whom we should be honouring or respecting. Some of them have been in prison, unfortunately, or even ex convicts as well. Have done their time, so been through the rehabilitation process, and yeah, we still outcast them in society. I'm not saying, I mean, there's an awful lot more of them now as well who should be still in prison, but we've done that before. Um, Unfortunately, yeah, people come, like you say, come on hard times for various different reasons. There, but for the grace of God, go I, anywhere in the world. Yeah, and yeah, sometimes family support breaks down. Um, Other things, our own perceptions. Um, Yeah, I mean, okay, mental illness, people unable to do a job for whatever reasons. I mean, okay, we can, what is mental illness? But we we've all got a point of view about that. But yeah, for some reason people don't do it. You're quite right. Some years ago there was a book written, and it's made it into a film. A street cat named Bob, called Bob. The poor cat died recently, and um, what's that, poor cat? But yeah, there's this guy, and his life adventures, if you like, but his life, and he wrote a book about it. And we had to read parts of the book, and yeah, I watched the film, and it does show things. It's not a hyper social comment. It says this is my life, and he had to
What
turn it
happened?
around. Yeah, and it does show you what life is like. Now, this has been going back. I remember seeing in the 1970s, homeless people. And I remember asking my mother about it. Yeah. And even on children's TV programs, they had, a homeless guy who was drinking. I remember going to London and seeing people on the benches and drinking meth as well, strange enough. Um, it's a sad thing to see. It is a failing, and we see it here as well. It's a failing of society that we have people that nobody knows what to do with, or supposed local authorities will do the flood clearances or anything else and just move the problem on to somewhere else. Um, and you're quite right. We've got enough problems with homelessness within our own indigenous population. Why are we introducing others, or why are we introducing and putting them in 4-star hotels if that was available before? To enable people. I mean, yes, you could collect people together, and then you're in a better position to try and resolve the problems. Why is your problem? Why can't you work? Yeah, give them a haircut if you like, and work out how you can best use your indigenous population, education wise, or lots of other things. There might be an acceptance that they might have to start at the bottom of the food chain again, or business again. Um, we could be losing a lot of internal talent. I mean, yes, you're getting university people end up on the streets. Whether or not a university is worth degrees worth having depends what it is. Yeah. Um, it all the time, and that is the trouble. And I'm going to be honest, it is a failing of inverted commas. I'm going to say this quite controversial democracy. Yeah. Um, Whereas we vote one people in, we vote another lot of people in, we vote, and the policies are always changing, um, and nobody goes beyond 5 years thinking. when politicians start at 15, oh, we've got a plan for 15 years. Yeah, but are your successors going to be carrying this through? Yeah, because the next lot get in and totally wipe away in many cases what's gone before.
Well, this is it, Mark. If the politicians all, I wouldn't say got together,
Yeah.
because it seems like a lot of them are,
Mm.
but for the wrong reasons,
Exactly. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
but created a project, a bipartisan project
Mm.
for 15 years or 20 years, like they tried to do with HS2,
Yeah.
only one that worked,
Yeah.
to resolve some of the problems of the UK,
Yeah.
and it had the support of both sides of the House. Then there's no reason why these problems can't be solved.
Well, I mean, yes, you bring in other stakeholders as well, local communities as well. Um,
Yep.
and if you say to people, okay, we've got a homeless problem, it's going to take the effort of all of us. And yeah, you bring in you bring in other people. I mean, um, the trouble is when they talk about building more houses, that doesn't necessarily solve the problem because these people aren't going to be able to afford houses. Um,
Right. So, I've sat down and I've thought about it because I was part
you're
of,
in this
of
situation, yeah,
of the problem, if you
yeah,
like. Um, I mean, I've always been a problem in my life,
yeah.
but this particular one.
Yeah, we've now inherited you as well now. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
And
joking,
I
but yeah,
thought to myself, what would I be prepared to do?
yeah,
And there are places where, if you're living on the street, you can go and have a kip at night, in a
yeah,
big hall with all these beds in a huge hall,
yeah.
and they take up to 70 people or
Mm,
whatever it is. And I thought to myself, well, I don't know why they don't have like state-run capsule hotels like they have private ones in Japan,
mm.
where you have an awful lot of people crammed into the same space, but in individual
Yeah,
pods, if you like.
yes, I remember them. Yeah, seen them.
Right, and and they're just there for the night. They're just that don't let anybody in before 10 at night, and they're kicked out by like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
And that'll, if the government does that sort of thing,
mm.
um, I don't see why they can't spread that over like 15, 20 years, so that at the end of 20 years, every city's got two or three of these places.
Well, yes. I mean, somebody once said to me, "Where's the profit margin in what you're saying?"
But it's a social thing, so there
Yeah,
shouldn't be.
yeah. I mean, that's it. A lot of us would probably happily pay taxes to see this kind of social solutions, problems to social solutions
Yeah.
within our own indigenous peoples.
Yes, of
Um,
course.
yeah, I mean, there does seem to be a detachment. I mean, people saying, "Oh, we should be looking after refugees or whether or immigrant." Well, yes, when you've sorted out your own problems, your own base
Yes.
problems at home, within your own country, um, and this is a disjoint that the senior politicians don't understand. I think the local politicians do. Certainly, I mean, yeah, even where I live, or come from, there's some there's some Labour politicians who are beginning to realise that maybe they're a little bit out of step with their hierarchical people. Um, okay, you're not going to solve everything, but yes, it's how do you solve? Yeah, I mean, some people might be happy on the street. I mean, that's a rather strange thing sometimes, but I can't imagine anyone would be. But yeah, you yes, give people somewhere to live, give somebody a purpose. Well, if you can collect people together, and like you say, interview them. Why is this issue here? What happens? A government minister goes round, has a look for 10 minutes, talks to a couple of people, has a picture taken, goes off, and nothing ever happens. Um, and yeah, then some people see the cost of it. But if you get local communities, as we've had a private conversation. The minute you try and do something in the local community, you're chastised for it. Yeah, um, it's always somebody else's job. Okay, you can't necessarily put a hostel next to next to salubrious flats. Um, I thought it was a brilliant idea when they were talking about putting the immigrants on these barges. There were a few homeless people they were talking to, and I saw some interviews, and everyone has said we'd love to move on them. Yeah, that would give us a good start. Yeah, and to be quite honest, when I've been traveling around the country doing things, I'd happily pay to move on one of them. It's better than some of the hotels I stayed in. Yeah. Um, it's yes, we have got to look as a society, um, and then there's so many rules and regulations that it's got to start. I'm afraid this has got to start at the top, and the enabling of all down the chain, and the enabling of local communities to maybe all get together and say, we have this problem. How do we resolve it? It, and I'm going to be honest here, it's not always in a politician's interest to resolve problems because who would need them? Well, they've always said, "Oh, we've got this problem to solve." Yeah, they feel that they appear to be needed. I know that's a probably oversimplification, but it's
No,
what it
no, but
appears.
you're exactly right. A
Yeah.
lot of politicians don't want, a lot of charities don't want to solve the problems, Mark,
Mm.
because if they did, then there'd no need to be there.
Yeah. Um, I mean, yes, we need to look, like you said, who's on the streets. If there are, let's put it bluntly, drunkards and junkies on the street, okay, how do you get them clean? Um, that is the other problem. I mean, th this is a serious issue. Okay, people make life choices that are wrong, as you sort of said. Maybe as society, we need to be helping people reevaluate their lives, given
Yeah, and I
the
think
tools to do it.
starts there. It starts before they actually get to the streets.
Well, that's it. That's the ideal. Yeah, somebody's on. I mean, that was the whole idea with us. When we talk about the welfare state, that was the idea of the welfare state. Stop people falling into this. If they do fall into it, get them out as soon as possible. Find a way forward. Um, you and me have the yeah. I mean, yes, I've been out of work once. I've been close to being on the street, but yeah, not as close as you've managed it, but um, it is a case of you use your intelligence. You think, how do I do this? And for instance, you said you had to draw the dole or whatever it was, or social.
No, it was two daily emergency payments.
Yeah,
It was just for the day.
yeah,
The payment was to cover the day,
yeah,
and I think it was, and I had to sit at the back of
yeah,
the DHSS office
yeah,
with a load of rather smelly people
yeah. Well,
who'd obviously been on the street for a long time.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't quite there, but I had to go to when I was out of work. I put all my efforts into trying to find another job. I didn't go and left going to the DHSS to the last minute. Yeah, when I thought rather than they told me off, they said you should have come to us first. I said, well, and I had all the proof that I've been writing to companies trying. They said, well, I know a fair play to you, but you should have still come to us first. Yeah, um, yeah. I mean, yeah, we're all too proud sometimes, but yeah, how? Yes, you walk around. I mean, I did actually see when I lived in Birmingham for a time. I saw lots of homeless in Birmingham, and it's tragic as well. And Birmingham has been in the spotlight for other issues as well recently, when they've got a lot of social economic issues in Birmingham. Believe me, yeah. Um, there were I saw groups of people going around trying to at least give the homeless a sandwich, give something to eat, and talk to them, spend
Yeah,
a few minutes talking to them. But yeah, it's really, really. I mean, okay, an old veteran is sad or an older guy, but it's when you see the real youngsters, like you, yeah, probably some as young as 16, 15 even. Yeah,
yeah. I remember watching on the telly a documentary called Johnny Come Home
mm,
about a young lad. He ran away from home when he was like 13, 14 years old.
yeah, mm,
They found him face up in a ditch, uh, murdered, of course,
yeah,
abused, and that was on the telly.
yeah,
And there was a surge of kids running away from home. and during the 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
70s, the 70s, and that sort of drove it drove it home to me.
Yeah.
That's when I was still living at home when I watched that.
Yeah. I mean, they are, yeah, I mean, yes, as I said, breakdowns of family life happened. There's probably more so in more recent times as well. Um, yeah, I mean, that could be economic, that could be a whole raft of reasons that, yeah, and it could stem from, yes,
Well, once
step,
again, we're talking about the 70s, and that was when
mm,
the economy in the UK was shot,
yeah,
and everybody was skint, and there's a lot of stress.
yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. The breakdown, the pressures on. I mean, this time of year, Christmas, the kids want toys and everything else, and the parents don't have the money. They
And
ramp.
even if, yeah, I was going to say that even if the kids don't start asking for presents,
Mm,
it's the feeling of guilt on the parents' minds
yeah,
that they give them the presents,
yeah,
and that also leads to stress and to people making the wrong decisions as well.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Maxing out the credit card that you're not going to pay until, well, never pay. Yeah, um, yeah. I hate credit cards, to be quite honest. Yeah, the whole thing of credit, but hey, that's another podcast for another day. But yeah, it's very sad. Get your fingers out, politicians. Get your heads together. You're meant to be resolving our social issues. This is what we pay you for,
And in
politicians.
the and in the meantime, Mark, it just seems to be getting worse.
It's another thing. Of people saying, why are people angry at politicians in the UK? There's more than one issue, and you don't hear many politicians coming up saying they're going to solve it anymore because they know they can't. They're up against something that just seems to be,
They just give her no answer when asked about it.
yeah. And
Just,
we have as a society, the UK has to come together on this, and I don't care which side of the, yeah, you're on. Um, we're going to have to come together to resolve this. Now, like I say, we've got enough. As I reiterate this point, we've got enough internal problems with our indigenous population without bringing in additional issues as well.